So who do you think should pay on a date, the guy or the girl? Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Zeelicious cooking series. We're not cooking today, but we're going to be talking about something very interesting. A couple of days ago, I was out on a date with a girlfriend and the most ridiculous thing happened at the restaurant. So you see how you go on social media and then you see some really weird stories of a guy and a girl going out to have a good meal, and then when it's time to pay the bill, the guy forgets his wallet or something funny like that. These stories are stories that we see and we're like, this can't be real. But then guys, I witnessed it live and direct. So a few tables away from where my girlfriend and I sat, there's this guy and this girl. They had a good time, laughed all through, ordered the most exquisite dishes, the exquisite drinks. And it was all well and good. I was even looking at them, I'm like, oh, theirs is a really beautiful love story. Whoever they were, I didn't know who they were. And when it was time to pay the bill, the guy suddenly says, I forgot my wallet at home. And my wallet has all of my cards in it. And the girl is like, how can you invite me out on a date? At this time, she's already getting really flustered. Like, how can you invite me out on a date and then you say you forgot your wallet? What kind of dumb excuse is that? Those were her words, not mine. And then the whole thing just kept going and going. And the girl, she had no form of shame whatsoever. She let the whole restaurant know what was going on. And before long, the waiter was just there standing, looking like, okay, I need my money though. Like all this drama going on between the both of you. Anyways, at the end of it all, she ended up paying the bill. She stormed out of there really angry at what the guy had done. Apart from the guy just being very, I forgot my wallet and all of that bullshit about his wallet and stuff, he also had this countenance like, yeah, since I don't have my wallet, you pay the bill. And it would have been a lot different. Now, this is what I observed. It would have been nice. I'm sure the girl wouldn't have had a problem paying the bill if he was a lot nicer and like, oh my God, I forgot my wallet. Can you pay the bill and then I'll pay you back or something like that? But the guy had this attitude of, yeah, since I forgot my wallet, why don't you go ahead and pay the bill? That was, I don't know. Anyways, it happened in front of me. It was really fun and interesting to experience. It gave me an idea to film a video and just come and discuss it with you guys. Prior to this video, I have asked a couple of my friends, those who are closest to me, I've asked them who they think should pay the bill, the guy or the girl. And I got their response. I'm going to be sharing their response with you. But before that, and then before I also get your response, because I'm also going to ask you what you think as well, I'm going to tell you what I think about the whole thing, and I'm going to answer the question. First, I'll give you my perspective of things and who should pay the bill. So let's get right into the question. Who pays the bill on a date? Now, there are different kinds of dates, but the date I'm referring to now is a dinner date. A date where you have to go to a restaurant to eat and have a good time. Who pays the bills? The guy or the girl? In my opinion, guys, I'm a very traditional girl. I'm an old school kind of girl. In my very opinion, I think, or I know that the guy is the one who pays on a date. That's it, guys. But to exhaustively answer the question, right, we have to talk about the different scenarios that play out when you go out on a date. So the very first scenario is when you first meet a guy and you guys are just trying to get to know each other and decide to go out to a restaurant to have a good time. And the guy invites you out. It's the guy's responsibility to pay the bill at the restaurant. So it's not your responsibility. And you don't have to feel you don't have to feel some kind of way. You don't have to feel like you should bring out your wallet or bring out your check or bring out your card to pay the bill. It's not your responsibility in any form, in any fashion, and in any shape. In fact, the feminine thing to do is to let the guy pay for the date. Whether we like it or not, men always want to feel in charge. And one way they can feel in charge is by paying for things for us. And why would I want to take away the power from a man or the responsibility from the man to pay for something when he is very capable of paying for it? So if he invites you out on a date, it's his responsibility to pay for that date. whatever expense is being incurred. And you don't have to feel responsible. You don't have to even offer to pay. It's not feminine when you offer to pay. It just, you may think that you're trying to prove a point, to let the guy know, or you can pay your bills and all of that. But it just sends all sorts of wrong signals, and it's the man's responsibility to pay. So your responsibility is just have a good time, sit down there, enjoy the meal, enjoy the conversation, and when it's time to pay the bill, you give the man the privilege of paying for the good time that you have had. So in my opinion, I think in that scenario, the man should be the one to pay for the date and not you. Just have a good time. Don't pay for it. Okay? Now, in that scenario, again, I'll just say that don't go out on a date with someone you don't trust. In terms of someone I know you just met him or you just met them, but instincts will tell you whether or not to make the move or not. So if you don't trust the person, don't even go out on a date with them to begin with. But if you have a little bit of trust, go out with them. But I always also advise that even if it's a guy who's invited you out on a date, still go out with your card or with your ATMs or with your ATM cards or with some cash, right? Just in case. Because that thing that happened that day, what if the girl didn't have any money on her? What would have happened? Just in case. But do not offer to pay the bill. Don't offer. This is just for in case of incasity, like in case of an emergency. Like if the guy decides to forget his wallet, like some guys do, you now pull it out, and just to save yourself the embarrassment, just have what they call vex money. That's what we call it in this part of the world, vex money. Just have that somewhere in your pocket when you go, but do not offer to pay for the date. Okay, so that's the very first scenario. The second scenario is if you guys have known each other for a while, you're already dating, you've come to a level of maturity and understanding, both of you having a good time. You just want to take each other out and make each other feel good. Now, in that scenario, I still maintain that the guy should be the one to pay for the date every time you guys go out. Traditionally, it's the man's responsibility to take care of his woman, and that includes paying for the time they have together, the time they spend together on a date. So it's also the man's responsibility to pay. But that doesn't mean that as a lady, you can offer to pay once in a while. So when you go out on a date with your boyfriend now or your husband, sometimes you might want to give him a good treat. You might want to pull out your card and pay for it. That's fine. But always give him the opportunity to pay for the date, and then only pay if you think that he doesn't have the money to pay at the time, or you just want to give him a very good treat. Am I communicating? But always give the man the opportunity to shine through. Like men always feel, it makes them feel good about themselves. It literally feeds on their ego. It makes them feel super good. Now, I'm talking about real traditional men. Modern men, I'm not quite sure. Like some men have this whole ideology in their head that, oh, things should be divided, or you pay, or sometimes you pay. I don't believe in that crap. Men are supposed to take care of women, and that's the absolute truth. So if you are in a relationship with a man and you go out on a date with him, he's the one who's supposed to pay for the date. You only pay for the date if you decide, if you want to pay for it. That's the feminine thing to do, to be very quite honest. And please, I think at this point it's very important to say this. Never ever talk about splitting the bill. I think that's the razzest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. When you say you go out on a date with someone and then you decide to split the bill, you pay half. Why do you want to stress the restaurant so much? That's stressful. Why would you want to stress the restaurant so much? Never talk about splitting the bill, ever, in whatever scenario that may play out on this date. Never talk about splitting the bill, okay? So the third scenario is when you're just friends. So this can even be a girl and a guy and a guy they're just friends and they just want to hang out. Or even if it's a guy and a girl. In this scenario, whoever invites the other person out should be the one to pay for the date. So for example, I want to go out and have a good meal, but I don't want to go by myself. And I have a friend maybe called Nelson, for example, who I want to invite to come on the date with me. The minute I pick up my phone to call Nelson to come hang out with me, I definitely should be the one to pay for the date. It's not, would you categorize this as a date? Well, I think it's a date, yeah. Even though Nelson is just my friend, there's no strings attached whatsoever. But the minute I picked up the phone to call him, I assumed the responsibility of a host, and the host takes care of everything, including the financial payment of that's the payment of the bill. So because, I have to be considerate of Nelson. He was in his house doing whatever he was doing. He probably didn't even have a budget to go to a restaurant to have a good meal. And I am the one who called him. So as long as I am the one who reached out to him, I should be the one to take care of the bill. But if we go to the restaurant and Nelson offers to pay the bill, to pay for the dates, I would definitely tell him, go right ahead, please. I'm definitely not going to say no. Please go right ahead. Always give the guys the opportunity to shine. Always give them the chance to shine. They would shine through paying the bills. Guys love to pay the bills. Don't be deceived. I know that there are lots of, there are different types of guys, but the real guys, the real men, they would love to always be on top and take the leadership role. And in this case, the leadership role is paying the bills. They love it. Give them the opportunity. In this scenario, if he offers, let him pay. But if he doesn't offer, you just take the initiative and pay because you are the one who invited him out on a date. And then the final scenario is if, for example, you and your girlfriend or you and your guy friend or you and your friends it was a mutual decision to go out and just have a good time. In this scenario, one person can offer to pay the bill. So if I decide to go out on a date with my girlfriend, I can decide to pay and tell her, you know what, I'm paying today, next time you're going to pay. But never split the bill, guys. Never split the bill. That splitting of the bill thing is really, really ras in my opinion, and I think it should never be done. Whether you're going out with your boyfriend, your husband, yourself, or your friend, or whoever, never split the bill. Offer to pay this time, and then the other time the other person pays. But never, ever split the bill. It's just very ras. And I think, in my very opinion, the people who ask the question or who are always troubled by who pays on a date are people who are actually really poor in their minds and do not understand the value of having another person experience a good time with another person. And that's the honest truth. If you have, and then check the quality of your friends though. The quality of people you have around you also matter. Do you have people around you who are always nitpicking about everything, like, this time you're paying, this time you're paying? No. If you have friends who are excited about taking you out on a date and paying for you and treating you with, giving you a good treat and all of that, be that person also to your friends, but also have friends who can do that for you as well. And when it comes to a relationship, like a romantic date, always give the man the opportunity to shine through or to shine forth by paying the bill. It's his responsibility. Traditionally, it's the man's responsibility to pay the bills. Stop trying to prove whatever it is you want to prove as a lady, that you can take care of yourself. There are different ways to prove or to show that you can take care of yourself. It's not by bringing out your wallet every chance you get to prove a point to the man that you can take care of yourself. That's not feminine. That's just you being a little crude. And you don't want to be crude on your first date with someone or on a date with someone. So those are the 4 scenarios that I think play out when it comes to dating. And dating does not necessarily mean it's a romantic thing between a guy and a girl. Dating, in my definition of dating, is you just going out with someone to have a good time. Whether the person is your friend or you are aspiring to make a lover, or the person is just a friend who's just a friend or a colleague at work. Dating, you can have a dating experience with every and anyone. And the 4 scenarios that I played out, the very first scenario is if you guys just met and the guy is inviting you out, please make sure he pays the bill. If you are the one inviting the guy out, make sure he pays the bill. You are not supposed to pay the bill as the lady in that scenario. The second scenario, you guys are already dating, you guys are already involved in a relationship. In that scenario, still let the man pay the bill. Let him pay the bill, and once in a while offer to treat him to a good time. That's fine, but always let him pay the bill. Every time you go out to a restaurant to dine, give the man the opportunity to shine through. Let him pay the bill. And then you only just pay the bill if, in rare cases when maybe he doesn't really have the money to take care of the bill at the time, you allow him to pay the bill. But always let him pay the bill. In fact, if you're the kind of person that has access to your man's ATM cards and all, and every time it's time to pay the bill, just take the card from the wallet, give it to the waiter, and act like you're even the one paying it, but it's on his card. Do you understand? The third scenario is if you're going out with your friends and you are the one who invited them out, you now have to assume the role of paying the bill because you are now the host. But if they offer to pay the bill, don't stop them. Let them go right ahead and pay the bill. The fourth scenario, if it's a mutual invitation by you, your friends, your colleagues, or whatever, someone should take the lead and pay the bill. Another person pays the bill another time, but never split the bill. Stop stressing the restaurants. Don't split the bill in any of the scenarios. It's so tacky to split the bill. So those are the 4 different scenarios when it comes to dates, having dates or going on a date with your significant other, someone you just met, your friends, your co-workers, your colleagues and whatnot. And I have, like I said, I asked a few people close to me what they think. I'm going to be reading out some of the things that some of them said. It was quite hilarious to see some responses, and some of them I quite disagree with, but I'm going to read it out anyways. So my friend, this is coming from a girl. She's my girlfriend, and she says, so first, it depends on the conversation or how close they are. If they barely know each other, the person that invites or asks should pay. If they do not know each other, they can agree on a split bill situation. And that's what I don't agree with. Like, the split bill situation is a no-no, especially on the first date. Don't split the bill. Don't split the bill. Let the man pay the bill. I still insist on that. And then she says, I've gone on dates where I paid. It just has to do with both parties, common understanding and maturity, which has nothing to do with age, by the way. And I think I agree with her here, but I personally would always let the man pay the bill. Like I said, I'm not saying once you guys have an understanding of each other, you guys are now close friends and all of that, you can now decide, okay, I pay the bill sometimes, but I would always let the man pay. And the only times I would pay the bill is when I want to give him a good treat, or peradventure, he doesn't have enough money at the time to take care of the bill. Then I can come and say, okay, I'll fit the bill, and maybe you pay me later. You pay me back my money. I'm just joking. So the second response I got this time was from a guy, and he says, ideally, it's the man's responsibility to take care of the bills. A man shouldn't expect a woman to take care of the bills when they go on a date. Now, that's my kind of guy. Then he says, but again, the woman can also take care of the bills if there is that very close friendship in the relationship, like I mentioned, that will override the man ever feeling less of himself. Did you hear that, guys? This is coming from a man. Men like to feel like they are in charge always, and making them pay the bill it feeds their ego. It makes them feel special. So he says here, I'm going to repeat his statement. He says the woman can also take care of the bills if there is that very close friendship in the relationship that will override the man ever feeling less of himself. So you see, offering to pay the bill as a lady can affect a man's ego. It can dent their ego, and that can make them feel less of themselves if you're not doing it the right way. So offering to pay the bill as a lady is an absolute wrong move, because you are trying to prove the point that you can take care of yourself, but it just makes the man feel like, oh, this one is just too much for me, and it affects his ego. And men's ego is everything to them. You cannot take that away from them. So he goes on to say, that will override the man ever feeling less of himself, or the woman ever feeling that she's above or bigger than the man. This guy just hit it on the head, like, for me, in every form, fashion, or shape. So you are trying to feel like, yeah, I can take care of myself, but you're hurting the man's ego. See, traditionally, it's the man's role to lead. It's the man's role to take the lead. You can't take it away from them. It's how God has designed and created them. Let them lead. That's how you shine through as ladies. If you let the man lead, you shine as a woman. Be feminine. Let them take care of you. That's why you're existing. Stop stressing. Stop trying to prove a point. There's no point. Enjoy your life. let the man pay the bill. Okie dokie. So he says, if they have that genuine friendship that allows equality, then yes, anyone can pay. This is my kind of guy, guys. This is my kind of guy. So I asked someone else who pays the bills. This person just went straight to the point and says, of course, the man should pay the bills. That's also my kind of guy. This is a very traditional man. Someone else said, Someone said, whoever calls for the date should pay the bill, or better still, split the bill. I don't agree with splitting, and I don't agree with whoever calls for the date. So even if I call for a date, a first date, and I'm telling a guy, I want us to hang out and just have a good time and all, and I don't know the guy, I expect the guy to pay. It's his responsibility. I'm not going to bring out my wallet or my purse. I won't. He has to pay for it. Someone else said, it's okay for anyone to pay, though I would prefer to pay. This is coming from a guy. Though I would prefer to pay. Can you hear their words? I think we ladies need to pay attention to guys and their responses. See, there's a feud going on right now in the world between guys and girls. Like, girls are trying to prove to guys that they can take care of themselves. Guys are trying to say, no, ladies, let's take care of you. But we don't want to listen because we feel like we're being intimidated or we're being subdued or oppressed by these guys. It's not true. It's not true. When you let a guy shine and win, you shine and win through him shining and winning. I think I'm going to talk about this in another series. But you guys heard it from the guys that I asked. I'm going to call a few people on the set right now because we had this conversation and it was quite interesting. I'm going to call one person to hear what he has to say. This is coming from a guy. So who's coming? Nelson, Chibuna. Okay, so guys, I have one of the guys behind the scene in the scene right now, and we're going to get his opinion on this because I want to get as many opinions as possible. So this is a guy's perspective. So who do you think should pay on a date, the guy or the girl?
Well, I believe it's the guy's place to pay. Even if a girl asks me out, I would still want to pay.
I mean, it's just how does it make you feel as a guy?
It makes me feel good, like I'm in charge.
Like he just said it all, though.
Even if she wants to pay, I would just like say no and please let me just get the bill.
Okay, what happens in a scenario where you don't have the money to pay? Maybe she asks you out on a date and you don't have the money.
It can't happen. I always have the money.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
This just settles it for me. This just settles it for me. Thank you so much. Thank you. You're the best. Next. Okay, so guys, this is Chibuna. He's also one of the guys behind the scene, and I'm going to ask him the same question. Who pays the bill on a date, the man or the girl?
The man should pay the bill.
Why?
Because the man has to pay the bill.
I think that settles it. But in a scenario where the man doesn't have the money, maybe he's invited by the girl, and he doesn't have the money, he knows he doesn't have the money to pay the bill. What should he do at that point?
I think he shouldn't go out like
You should just find a way and decline nicely. Don't go and embarrass yourself if you don't have money to pay, okay? It's really embarrassing. Thank you, Chibuna. So now you guys have heard my opinion. You have heard the opinion of some other people as well. It's your turn to tell me what you think. Who should pay the bill on a date, the guy or the girl? And I definitely want to know reasons why you picked whatever answer that you decide to pick. So go in the comment section now. Let's continue the conversation there. It's quite an interesting one, and I'm so looking forward to knowing what you guys think about who should pay the bill on a date. I think it would be a good idea to have a second part to this conversation where I invite two people, a guy and a girl, and then we just have the conversation on the set. It's a really good conversation to have. So depending on how the conversation continues in the comment section, I will know if I'll decide whether or not to have a second part for us to continue this conversation. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up so I know what kind of videos to produce for you guys. And of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Share this video with your family and friends so that they too can get in on the conversation and more people can, we can all learn and get knowledgeable on these things, because these are the things that make or mar us, whether you like it or not. These are one of the things that decide things like our relationship with others, how we relate with them and all of that. So yeah. it's a good conversation to have. All right, I'll see you next time with another video. Until then, let's be very kind to one another, love yourself generously, and it's me, the queen of fun and fast cooking, and now the queen of talking. Signing out right now. Take care, guys.